I was sent into orbit to investigate something strange. A massive sleeping Labubu had appeared in space. We called it Moon-Boo-Boo. I was hesitant to get too close, but Chubs was determined to wake it up, and I couldn't stop him. But when he did, it was not happy. The Moon-Boo-Boo headed straight towards Earth. We couldn't keep up. But right as it was getting close, it stopped. When Chubs and I had landed, we found that the world had already changed. The Labubu head in the sky caused some people to freak out, while others believed it was here to help. Labubus began leaving their villages and fighting campers. We didn't know it at first, but the bites were infected and were transforming people into Labubu hybrids. Nobody was safe. The Moon-Boo-Boo hovered over Earth for years, and in an attempt to figure out why, the Labubu Defense Division was created. Being one of the first people to see the Moon-Boo-Boo, I knew I couldn't just do nothing, so I joined the group, hoping to get some answers. And with more people turning by the day, we knew it was time. A few days later, we launched our first contact mission. But when the probe got close, the Moon-Boo-Boo opened its mouth and unleashed a flurry of rock-like Labubus, which destroyed all of our hard work. I yelled for Chubs to get out of there, but it was too late. The Moon-Boo-Boo had killed my best friend. After that, we decided to focus on what we could fix on Earth. I was placed in a squad and sent off to an area with a high Labubu hybrid population. We were hoping we would get answers, but instead we were met with violence. The battle started evenly matched. We had the firepower to hold them off, but just as it seemed like we might win, something terrifying appeared. It looked like a giant alien Labubu. This alien laid waste to my squad. It was ruthless, unstoppable, a killing machine. We could do nothing to stop it. And as the only survivor, I just barely made it out alive. I raced back to the Defense Division's HQ, but when I got there, they didn't want to hear about the monster I had encountered because they were too focused on what was happening above. A giant hand in the cosmos grabbed the Moon-Boo-Boo and took it away to the unknown. Nobody knew why, but the Moon-Boo-Boo was gone. Years have passed since that day, and civilization is trying its hardest to rebuild. I was given a promotion and have dedicated my life to working with scientists to make a cure. I knew the giant Labubu was the key to getting that, but nobody even believed it was real. So one night, I went searching for the beast. It seemed like I would never find it until my van flipped over. And when I crawled out, it was right there waiting for me. I hit the monster with everything I had. I thought I was prepared this time, but even that wasn't enough. Things were going from bad to worse. Time for a strategic withdrawal. I sent out a distress signal, but I knew the reinforcements would be too late. And the creature was hunting me. So I used every last bit of my strength to try fighting back. Even though I could barely hurt it, I wasn't about to go down without a fight. But in the end, it beat me. The last thing I remember was the monster standing over me, followed by a massive explosion. I woke up 3 days later. Everyone was surprised to see me alive. But more importantly, they were excited to show me the good news. They had caught the alien Boo-Boo, and it was the first real step to fixing what the Moon-Boo-Boo had done to the world. Bubba had a plan that he thought might work, but something told me this wasn't the end. Despite their sinister appearance, appearance, Labubus are actually quite friendly. But on a full moon, the Labubus become evil. And you better watch out, because they'll attack anyone and destroy whatever they can. And they're even mean to their animal friends. But since it only happens one night a month, nobody sees this side of them until now. Red already made a plan to harness the power of the full moon and to create a device that could turn Labubus evil. And when the day came, he succeeded in that plan. The village transformed before Red's very eyes, and he became their leader. But one Labubu wasn't hit by the ray, and that Labubu ran looking for help. But by the time he found me, Red was already commanding a Labubu army to do his evil deeds. I thought I could sneak up on him, but the evil Labubus were stronger than you'd think. They managed to trap me, and Red could have killed me right there. He kept me alive so I could witness his master plan. Meanwhile, some of Red's Labubus were attacking the White House, causing chaos in the Oval Office. This was only a distraction, because the rest of Red's new minions were breaking into a secret government facility and stealing a super weapon. Everything was coming together perfectly for Red, so he left me to complete his plan and began loading the weapon into his spaceship. I was beginning to lose hope, but that's when I noticed that one of the Labubus seemed to be creeping closer towards me. It was the one who had escaped earlier, and she was disguised as an evil Labubu. She managed to get me free and held off the evil Labubus so I could escape the village. Red was preparing his spaceship, and he had already reprogrammed the super weapon. Whatever he was planning on doing, it wasn't going to be good. And by the time his ship blasted off, he was confident that with the help of his evil Labubus, he would finally beat me and use the power of the moon and the super weapon together to turn everyone on Earth evil. When he made it to the moon, he decided to take one last look at me on Earth. He had noticed I'd escaped, and to his surprise, I was standing right behind him. You see, I had managed to sneak onto his ship and hide among his gadgets and experiments. Red was furious, and he attacked me with everything he had. But this wasn't my first rodeo, and with the help of some of his own gadgets, I managed to hold off his evil Labubus, knock him out, and reroute the rocket back to Earth. Little did I know, I had woken up the moon in the process. By now, you probably already know what happened when the moon woke up. It seemed like every planet had woken up by now. All except one. I was tasked with a very important mission. Taking a crew to Pluto. So we can make sure it isn't a monster like the other planets. Everything seemed okay at first. But then something terrible happened. I tried calling for help. But just as soon as I got a message through, the communications got jammed. But that's not the worst of it. Something made my crewmate go crazy. I didn't want to hurt him, but he sure wanted to hurt me. He was a lot stronger, and it wasn't looking good for me. But thinking that my crew had all died, the government decided to attack. They sent out a missile to Pluto, believe me! But it made Pluto angry. And it started moving towards Earth! And with the government having no other options, I had to think of something fast! I used parts from the broken ship and made an explosive! I was going to destroy Pluto from the inside! There were creepy beings frozen in ice! And a strange glowing liquid! I could have explored down there forever! But it wouldn't be long before Pluto crashed into Earth! And with the meeting of an old friend, I had to act fast! The explosive was primed, and I ran as far as I could! I survived the explosion, but now I was floating alone in space! Or at least, I thought I was. There was nothing I could do! Pluto's moon, Karen, would swallow me whole! I knew I wouldn't survive inside much longer. But then I heard the crunching noise! Karen had bit into a large spaceship! This could be my ticket out of here! But when I got on board, I was met with even more trouble! The captain was dead, and his crew had already turned! I fought through them and locked myself in communications. I had contact with mission control! They were surprised to hear I was alive! But they were unable to help! They told me there was a problem! And they were also locked in! Once again, it was all up to me! Luckily, this ship had lots of vents. I snuck into one just in time! I went back to the cockpit and initiated the ship's self-destruct timer and ran to an escape pod and launched myself out of there. As I sped towards Earth, I watched the ship and Karen explode. Things weren't looking good in the control room. And it seemed like it was about to get worse. Boy, were they ever happy to see me. They told me my mission was a success. But I was shocked when I saw the dead Labubu. I checked to see if it was really dead when suddenly I was ambushed. I tried to explain that it wasn't me who killed it, but they didn't seem to believe me. It wasn't until I was about to die when the dead Labubu jumped up. He told the others he was only faking and that I was innocent. Talk about a close one. I made peace with their leader, who explained that hunters have been after them because of their rarity. I couldn't believe it. I asked if there was anything that I could do, which they really appreciated. They led me through the forest to a camp of hunters. Right away, I thought of a plan. I got them to collect all kinds of materials. And I got to work creating a forest monster suit. And we scared set the hunters off, and I was invited to the Labubu village. But when we got there, something was off. All the other Labubus were gone. It must have been the hunters. They prepared to get revenge. That's when we heard a noise. We crept over to where it came from and found a baby Labubu. They said that everything was normal until a large ship appeared in the sky. Everyone played dead, but then a tube came down and sucked everyone up. That didn't sound like hunters at all. That's when a Labubu spoke up. It was the one who played dead earlier. He said he only did that because he was startled by a ship in the sky. A ship piloted by a blue monster. And there was only one blue monster I knew of. And that's when everything clicked. Red was capturing Labubus to use as an attraction at the play place. And it was up to me to save them. I snuck into the play place and saw that Red was having a hard time because most of the Labubus were playing dead. And the ones that weren't were impossible to control. I saved those ones first. And with their help, I overpowered Red and stole his ship. I thought that was the end of him, but it turns out he had accounted for something like this and hid a Labubu just in case. Meanwhile, back to their village. I dropped the saved Labubus back off at their village. And with the help of some tech I stole from Red, I made sure they'd be safe from any more threats. I was with my friends in the woods, totally lost. And that's when we saw it, a deer monster. Just as I went to get a closer look, I woke up in the back of the car. It was just a horrible dream. I told my friends about my nightmare, and Angel thought it was bad luck. But Chubs said we were just being babies. I sure wish he was right. We started to set up camp, and I was the lumberjack. But things were already getting weird. A strange, thick fog rolled in. So we huddled up to the campfire. But then we saw something in the fog. Chubs was getting prepared to fight the figure. But when Angel shined her flashlight on it, we discovered it was a pelt trader. He had been searching for his lost son, who went missing in the forest 99 nights ago. He warned us of a horrible monster lurking in the woods. That looked like a mutant deer. It was just like my nightmare. So when the trader left, I told everyone we had to leave right now. But Chubs didn't want to go. He said the trader was probably just messing with us. We decided to call it a night there and had a peaceful sleep. But the next morning, Chubs was making us breakfast when he saw something in the bushes. He went to go investigate, but he didn't come back. Angel and I figured he was pulling a prank, but as the sun got lower, we got really worried. We packed some supplies, and we went searching. As we looked, we stumbled across a creepy old cabin. It seemed to be abandoned, but we did find a revolver inside. Angel remembered what the fur trader said about the monster, so we took the revolver just in case. It's a good thing she did, too, because as we continued walking, it felt like something was watching us. Wasn't the deer monster. It was a pack of wolves. I got my axe out and started fending them off. But after taking a closer look, I noticed that one of the wolves had a key on its collar. Weird. That same wolf knocked me off my feet. Luckily, Angel saved me, and the collar snapped right off. We ran away to hide and found a secret staircase deep into the ground, which led us to a locked gate. Angel tried the key, and it worked! And we couldn't believe what we were seeing! It was the fur trader's son! He ran away as soon as we found him, so we chased after him, but we weren't alone. The strange cultists took our weapons and brought us to a clearing in the woods. They must worship the deer monster, and since we let their sacrifice escape, we would be taking his place. They started a big fire and began preparing us for the deer monster. But I wasn't going down without a fight. So I fought off the monster lovers. Bumpy special coming right up. Take that and that. I cut the ropes around Angel and got ourselves some upgraded weapons. Oh yeah! Then we ran to save our friend. We knew what we were looking for now. We needed to find an animal with a key. And that's when we saw it. An alpha bear! This wasn't going to be an easy fight, but it was the only way to get to Chubs. So I ran at the bear with my axe. He swatted me away with ease. I'd be lying if I said that didn't hurt. It did. Getting eaten would hurt a lot more. Angel loaded her new weapon and fired at the bear. But its hide was like armor, and it charged at her next. She just lined up her next shot, but when she pulled the trigger, she realized she was out of ammo. The weapon was still useful, and this gave me just enough time to jump on its back and swing down with my axe. Run! The alpha bear was knocked out, so we grabbed the key and found the hidden gate. But the door was already open. And Chubs was nowhere to be found. That's when we heard him calling for help. We followed the sound of his voice and saw that he was about to be sacrificed. Typical Chubs. With no more weapons, we had to improvise. Angel called out from the woods. And when the deer monster turned to look at her, she shined a flashlight right at its face. It was working! The deer monster tried attacking me too, but it stumbled from its blurry vision and fell into the fire. We saved Chubs and sped back home. We became legends to the cultists that day because we were the ones who killed the deer monster.